Hey, Mama. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Dear Mama Purpose, Paid, and Peace. This podcast, it's where we help moms. We help you to stop surviving, start healing, and create a life that actually feels good. Because feeling good, that's what we want to happen, Mama. Okay, over here on my block, we talking about identity, boundaries, money, motherhood, and what it really looks like to choose yourself in real time. I'm your host, Keosha Henson, mom, wife, NLP life coach, AKA means I teach you how to communicate with your brain. And mama, this space is for you. If you press play today, it's probably because you tired of starting over, right? You saw the title, you're like, this might be for me. This is gonna be my year. Because you say that all the time, but somehow you end up in a place the next year, right, where some of the things look the same. And mama, I want you to know you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not behind. Okay. You haven't been missing out on motivation because motivation and willpower, those things don't really work long term. What you've been really missing out on is a process. And that's what we're going to do today. Today's episode is not about the hype, it's not about the hustle, it's not about pretending that things are just going to get magically easier. No, it's about doing something different. So, this episode, Mama, this episode is your reset. So, I'm going to be giving you 5 steps that will help you stop surviving and really start choosing yourself in real time. Now, normally, Mama, I'm telling you, you can listen to this while you're cleaning up, while you're taking the kids to school. But this episode is going to require a little bit of concentration because I want you to actually write these steps down. It's only 5 steps. I'm not asking you, it's nothing crazy here. It's nothing crazy. But writing down these 5 steps and actually reflecting on them and actually thinking about how you can embody these and actually work this into your life. So let's get started. Step one. Step one. Tell the truth about the season you're in. Listen, these steps are not going to be difficult. They're going to be real simple. They're going to be simple things that you can do, mama, but they not going to be easy. Okay. I just want you to know it's not going to be easy for you to do these things, but they're very simple. So telling the truth about where you actually are. Listen, you cannot plan your best year if you're lying to yourself about your life. And I don't mean like lying intentionally, right? I mean the quiet lies we tell ourselves to keep going. I'm fine. It's not that bad. This is just what motherhood looks like. It's going to get better. I'm going to pray it away. Those are things that we quietly tell ourselves to keep ourselves going. And it's really keeping us stuck and not actually moving. So the truth is, many moms, we're exhausted, right? You're exhausted, you're resentful, you're overwhelmed, you're disconnected, but you're still showing up every day. So, the first part of the reset is radical honesty. It's really being honest about where you are. So, I want you to ask yourself, what am I tolerating that's draining me? So, doing inventory of your life, really going through your everyday, day to day, and looking at what are you tolerating that's draining you? And then I want you to also ask yourself, what version of myself am I trying to return to instead of allowing myself to evolve? So oftentimes mothers become mothers and then they try to become the woman they were before they actually became a mother. And that is impossible because you're no longer her. You're still that girl, right? But you are that girl that is now a mother. So now you have to evolve and actually figure out what your life looks like in motherhood and how you can still be that girl in this new body. So most moms don't need a new planner because I see, planners coming out in January, everybody getting new planners. The planner isn't like the planner is cool. It's cool, right? And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that a planner isn't useful, but what I'm saying is that most moms don't need that new planner. That new planner is pretty, it's nice, but a lot of moms need permission to tell the truth. You need permission to tell the truth that you might need more than a planner. The planner is not going to solve the problem. So, truth is uncomfortable, but it is also the doorway to change. So, if you don't first become truthful and uncomfortable with where you are right now, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward. Listen, if you skip this step, everything else becomes performative. This is when you start becoming, you know, a little bit fake. So I want you to pause, be honest, name the season you're actually in, not the one you wish you were in, but the actual season that you're in. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Okay. Step two, I want you to release the identity that was built in survival mode. So oftentimes, moms are entering into seasons where, where they have had to become this person in order to remain safe. Oftentimes, we're bringing baggage from when we were children into our parenting. We're bringing the way we saw it done when we were children. We're bringing that into our parenting. And we're not really thinking about what it looks like in the world that we're in now. The world that I was raised in, the 80s, that's not the world that we're in now. And so a lot of the things that my mother used to do, I can't bring that into my parenting experience now. I have to be okay with creating a new identity. So I want you to take a look at the person that you are, which comes with that step one, right? Telling the truth. But then the next step is letting go. So you're telling the truth about who you are right now, and then you're letting go of her too, because she was built for survival. She's not built to go where you're going right now. And this isn't about shaming who you used to be, because remember, we're telling the truth about who we were, who we are, where we are, and then we're letting that person go. It's about recognizing that some versions of you were built for survival, and that's not sustainable, because you staying stuck in those old versions of yourself, it really prevents you from moving forward and evolving. So I'm talking about that over explainer, that fixer, that people pleaser, that woman that puts herself last because it just feels familiar, and you don't even know why you're doing that. The versions of you that did her job, she kept you alive. Thank her. Thank her, right? She did her job, but she is not meant to lead you into the best year. She's done her job. So here's what I need you to hear. If you keep trying to become who you were before the pain, I don't know what that pain is. I don't know what that event is. I don't know what that looks like for you. But remember, we're telling the truth. So trying to say I'm trying to get back to myself. I hear people say that all the time. I'm trying to be that person I was before, he did that, da, 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 da. You're going to miss out on who you were meant to become after it. So that's owning that pain. It happened. And then moving forward with that wisdom and that knowledge. So, releasing your old identity doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're growing in real time. You've never been here before. So ask yourself, who do I no longer need to be? What can you let go? It's probably one of those things that's draining you. And what am I allowed to put down? Again, it's one of those things that's probably draining you. It's one of those things that maybe you're trying to keep everybody else together. Maybe you're trying to control other people. Focus on you. I don't know what this is, but it starts with you telling the truth. Let's move on to number three. Step three. Step three. Define what peace is, not what looks good. So I hear so many moms say, I want to find peace. And I want you to know peace is what you say it is. Your best year ever, it's not going to look impressive to everyone else. And that's okay. It's not going to look like hers on the internet. And that's okay. Peace is not an aesthetic. Well, sometimes it can be, right? Like you can get into your peaceful vibe or whatever. But when I say that it's not an aesthetic in this sense. I mean, it's not an aesthetic where you are having things that other people have and comparing yourself to that person. Peace is personal. It's about what you need. So I want you to really think about, instead of chasing goals that look good on paper, define your peace. Define what peace feels like and looks like for you. I said earlier this week on my Facebook page that I was watching a video from a mom, and she was saying peace to her looks like her having all of her bills on auto pay and being able to order DoorDash at any moment that she wants it without feeling guilty about it. Peace to another mother may look like saving money and cooking more at home and saving that money that they would spend on DoorDash. Everything looks different to everyone, and that's okay. When you're looking at your piece, I want you to define it in three areas: motherhood, money, and mental health. Mental health is very important, mama. I can give you all of these steps, but if your thinking is not steady, then these things will feel even more difficult than they already are. So, caring for your mental health and really making time for that. And I know that it is easier said than done. Looking for a mental health provider, going to these appointments, getting someone you trust, all of those things are very difficult, but so is failing at life. Feeling like a failure is also very difficult. Feeling like you are stuck is also very difficult. So, mama, it is important for you to choose your heart. And really caring for your mental health is so very important when trying to build your best year ever, trying to evolve. Because if your thinking is not straight, none of these things will work. So, I want you to really think about that in addition to what really feels aligned. Okay. Like what feels like this is supposed to be your life. What you want wants you more. But the truth is, peace isn't passive, mama. It's not something that is just going to drop into your lap, that is just going to be there. Peace is a decision that you have to make every single day. So when you define peace for yourself, boundaries will stop feeling mean and they'll start feeling very, very necessary. In order for you to control and have your peace, you're going to have to set boundaries and be okay with being that villain in someone else's story. So I encourage you to stop chasing what looks good and start choosing what feels right. Okay, let's move on to number four. Step four. Step four. Move even when you are afraid. Listen, fear will always be along for the ride. You just can't let it drive you. Fear is not going to disappear before your best year begins. It's okay to be afraid. For the mom that's waiting to feel ready, you may not ever feel ready. You got to move before then, boo. Okay. Waiting to feel ready is how you waste so many years of your life. Confidence comes after movement, not before, because confidence is a muscle. It is something that you build up over time. So if you are not moving, then you are not becoming confident because you're not even testing this thing so you can improve. So fear doesn't mean stop. Let me say that again. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear means this matters. Pause, put your best foot forward and do the best that you can. So here's the rule: one aligned move per week, whatever that looks like for you. Not 10, not perfection. We're moving, okay? We're moving. So send the email, make the call, rest without explaining. I don't know what that looks like for you, but in addition to these steps, you are defining what that looks like for you. Momentum. Your best year yet is built through momentum, not certainty, not control, not you knowing what's going to happen every step of the day, but being intentional with how you show up, being intentional with what you give off. That is how you build your best year ever. Okay, step five. Step five, the very last step. Y'all been staying with me. Thank you so much for staying with me. Build systems that support the woman you're becoming. So I already told you that your best year yet is not going to be sustained by just willpower alone. It's not going to work by you just being motivated. I'm doing air quotes, y'all can't even see me, but it's not going to be created being motivated. It's going to be sustained by support and changing your formula. So if you don't like where you are right now, that's because you're stuck and the formula that you have been using at life is not working. So you have to create a new formula. And that is what these steps are all about. These steps are about creating a new formula. Too many moms, they try to change their lives while staying in environments, routines, relationships. You're staying in these situations that are requiring you to abandon yourself. Mama, you're going to always have you. And if you don't put you first, then nothing is going to go right. So this final step, it's about asking yourself a different question. Not how do I do more, but what needs to be in place so I don't fall back into survival mode. And that means looking at your life and thinking about what in my life causes me the most pain or what in my life causes me to suffer. And for everyone, that's going to look different. Maybe that looks like your employment. Maybe you find yourself in a situation where you are unable to pay your bills, or you are in a situation where you hate your job. That may mean looking at your life and saying, what do I need to do different so that I can get a better job? Does that mean for you going back to school? Does that mean getting additional training? What does that look like? But understanding, in order for you to move past where you are right now, you're going to have to do something different. Thinking about what do systems look like? When we think about people running these corporations, they have things called SOPs, standard operating procedures, right? And these are the operating procedures that they use to run their company so things run smoothly. That's what you need, mama. You need a SOP for your life. In order to evolve, you need a SOP that looks the way you need it to look so you can have what you want to have. So systems will look like this. And it's going to feel different and look different for everyone. But a weekly reset ritual, that is so important. Planning your week. If you are going into your best year ever, you can't just go in without a plan. So my weekly reset day is on Sunday. On Sunday, I am actually thinking about what I'm going to cook on Monday through Friday. I'm not waiting until I get off from work on Monday evening and saying, okay, what are we going to eat? So it is actually putting things in place so that becomes easier for you. And again, it may not be dinner because that may not be a problem for you. That may not be a problem area. But again, when you do inventory of your life and you look at the ways where you suffer, it's going to be different for everyone. The next part of a system is one non negotiable boundary. What does that look like for you? Everyone is different. For me, I don't do last minute plans unless, sometimes there are exceptions to the rule, obviously. But for the most part, I am not a last minute girl. I need a couple of days to plan and prepare for what things are going to look like for me. That is just what I need so that I can be on time and I can be on and ready for whatever it is. That may not be for you. So again, it's looking at what is one non-negotiable boundary for you. And then one place that you could be held accountable. So where can you write these things down? Because you're not going to remember them all in your brain. That's just not going to work and it's not going to happen. And so if you continue to think that, oh, I'll just remember, you're not. And then you're going to be stuck in the same place next year. So be very clear about having a place to hold yourself accountable. If that means putting lists on your refrigerator, setting timers on your phone, having a journal that fits in your purse, it's actually holding yourself accountable. Healing doesn't stick when you got to fight yourself every day to remember and be like, oh my God, I got to start over tomorrow. No, just put the system in place. Here's the truth. The woman you're becoming doesn't need motivation. Again, I said that already because I really want you to understand that it's not about willpower. It's not about motivation. You need permission to be supported. You need permission to be like, okay, I can get a therapist. You need permission to say, I can ask someone to babysit my kids. You need permission to say, like, I can ask for more money at my job. So actually being okay with being supported. When you build a life that's able to hold you, you stop starting over. You're building systems, but you're also building a village. It looks different for everyone. So that is the most important part, is that it looks different for everyone. And that's how this year becomes different. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally stopped abandoning yourself, mama. You finally start saying that you matter before anything else. And that's when everything starts to fall in place for you. So let's just recap what we talked about, because we talked about a lot today. Before we close, I want to remind you, we talked about telling the truth, because you cannot change a life that you won't be honest about. Point blank, period. We talked about releasing the version of you that was built in survival mode. Everybody can go, and the old you can't go. The old versions of you can't go. Things you taught yourself, right? You could take some of those lessons with you, but the old you and what you did, the behavior you did to survive cannot go. And honoring her without letting her lead you into this next season, it is so important. So we talked about choosing peace on purpose. So choosing peace on purpose is really thinking about, what does that look like for you, not what it looks like for someone else. We also talked about moving anyways. Fear gonna always be along for the ride. We're just not gonna let it drive our car. So we're still gonna move, right? We learned that confidence is a muscle, and so it comes after we move, not before. And finally, the most important thing, we talked about creating systems that support you. Again, that's going to look different for everyone. You're doing inventory of your life, and you're thinking about, what do you need? This wasn't about doing more. It's about doing what's aligned for you. So if you don't remember anything else from this episode, remember this: your best year doesn't require perfection. It requires these three things, mama. These three things: presence, honesty, and consistency. Okay. So, with that in mind, let's get to our Dear Mama letter, which is a love letter written directly to the mama that's listening and found value in this episode. Dear Mama, your best year doesn't start when life gets easier. It starts when you stop abandoning yourself. You are not behind, you are becoming. And becoming is messy. Becoming is tender. Becoming is happening in real time. So if all you do this week is tell the truth, release one old version of yourself, and take one aligned step, that's not small. That's your best year beginning. So, our affirmations for this episode are: fear does not get to lead my decision. I move even when I'm unsure. I trust myself to take the next aligned step. I am becoming in real time, and that is enough. The journal prompts for this episode is: what truth about my life, my needs, or this season have I been avoiding? And what would change if I allowed myself to be honest about it? If this episode touched you, share it with another mama who's been carrying too much in silence. And come hang out with me on Instagram at Keosha, the life coach, the number 4, and mamas. Or follow me on Facebook at Keosha Henson. And let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, remember this: mama, your peace is the assignment.